Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Verdicts In. I'm your host, Nicole.
I'm Gary.
And today we're talking about American sports story, the Aaron Hernandez story. This episode is titled, if it's to be Season 1, Episode 1, it is probably just going to be a one-season series, just like the other American crime stories that are sort of in this same ballpark. So it was written by Stuart Zichterman, who's worked on The Divorce, The Affair, and The Americans. Very good resume there.
Right.
And directed by Carl Franklin, who's worked on Monster, which is now the Mendez Brothers show that's on Netflix that just came out, actually.
Okay.
Manhunt and Mindhunter.
All right, we love both of those.
Yep, loved Mindhunter. Now, Gary, we watched the episode twice. What are your thoughts on the show? And then kind of give a background on your experience or your knowledge of this case in real life.
I have no knowledge of this case in real life. I've seen a few stories here and there, but I was never interested in this story particularly. I'm glad. I mean, this is, to me, it's like the OJ case. I didn't really know much about the OJ case, but that was because I was too young. In this case right here, I just didn't have the mental capacity at that point. Try to, let all that energy get into me. I've seen a couple of clips here and there. One thing I do know is they let a lot of different stories in it. One story being, I saw a clip of his friend who was quarterback. I saw he came out and gave a story. I can just give you like cliff notes. He said Aaron was, they were secret lovers. But this was after Aaron was dead. So I didn't know whether I could take it serious or not, because Aaron was dead when this guy came out and said that. And plus he could, there was nobody else to confirm it, but that's what a secret lover is. But other than that, I'm just watching it with you.
Yeah, I would say the same thing is the case for me as far as like the OJ case. I was too young to know the OJ case. So when we did that episode or did that series, maybe 8-7 years ago, whenever it came out, and that was the American crime story, I was not familiar with it as much. Like, I just knew OJ was accused of killing his wife and everyone thought he was guilty, but he was found innocent or found not guilty. In the case of Aaron Hernandez, this kind of came to an end or closure in 2017. So I don't know. It looks like they're starting the story right now in 2013. So I'm guessing it's going to be a few years of this case. I don't know much. I just know they said he had CTE. And spoiler, he's accused or he was found guilty of killing people. It sounded like multiple people. And then I believe that he killed himself in jail. But even then, when it came out, I'm like, I'm not even going to look anything up. I just kind of want to watch the show. I remember when this happened, but I don't know. I'm not going to say it wasn't. I didn't pay attention to whatever was going on. It wasn't interesting.
I think at the time we were just on positive vibes.
Yeah, I didn't.
We didn't watch
and I'm glad
the news much or try to let all that stuff get in our space.
Yeah, I'm glad you said positive vibes, because watching that first episode, when we first watched it, I was like, I don't know if I can watch it again. It was so dark and so depressing.
It was.
and I'm not saying that, seeing his home life and everything like that, and we'll get into the series in a minute and the episode in a minute, not saying that excuse whatever, outcome end up taking place. But it does kind of make you, I want to be careful. I want to be sensitive.
Well, I think that's what the show is trying to do. It's trying to give you a feeling, trying to let you know that, he was a human being also.
Yeah,
he may have gone through some stuff earlier in life, and that's not excusing anything that he's done. But I think that's the purpose of the television show and the purpose of this episode.
Yes, and then the CTE thing is still somewhat new, but I know there's been other football players like Junior Seau. He committed suicide. I remember Junior Seau because he came to my elementary school, because I grew up in San Diego, and he came to my elementary school. And that's when he used to play for the San Diego Chargers at that time. But he committed suicide. And when afterwards, didn't he commit suicide? Junior Seau? And I'll look it up, just make sure I'm correct. But I know they said he had CTE as well. So it's kind of bringing in, everyone knows football is dangerous, but it is kind of bringing in like, hey, some of these players are really messed up in the head after getting concussion after concussion. There's that football player right now that's in the spotlight having several concussions. Taya, I want to say his name is. I might be pronouncing that wrong. What is it?
For Miami.
Yeah. So, and luckily, I think he's stepping away. But
he's not.
Oh, well, hopefully we'll get more information as time goes on, because not saying once again if you have CTE, but who knows? I don't know. Do you have CTE? Are you still responsible for your actions? I don't know. You know? I mean, do you have any control? Any control whatsoever?
Yes. I'm pretty sure he still knew right from wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not making any excuses for him. Already what he did in this first episode, I'm like, damn. Like, you know, how did it go on so long? So, anywho, let's get into it. We're going to go scene by scene. We are going to try to be as respectful as possible because we know this is based on a true story. But at the same time, we are coming from it from fresh eyes, and I really kind of don't even want to look up real parts of the case. I just kind of want to base our review and our discussion on the series. All right, so we start off, it's 2013. They're at a strip club. It's Aaron and a guy named Sherrod. I don't know if that's like a fellow football player. He's a fellow friend. And yeah,
it seems like it's a fellow friend.
Maybe seems even a colleague.
Seemed like they knew each other for a while.
Right, yeah. And we already see they're already painting the picture that Aaron's already getting headaches. Like, he's rubbing his temple.
Yeah.
And he's sort of, I don't want to say being paranoid, but he is somewhat paranoid because he sees some guys staring at him. He's like, those could be cops. And Sherrod's like, yo, those are just fans. Like, chill. Why would cops be here from Boston all the way here?
So this is letting us know that something happened.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what happened yet, but he's paranoid.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's paranoid with a mix of confusion.
Yeah.
Because he seemed real confused. Like you said, it looked like he had a headache or something.
Right. And him and Sherrod's like, when they get in the car, they leave the strip club, and Sherrod's like, yo, like, chill out. No one knows you're here. No one knows about Boston. And he's like, well, you know.
Well, hold up. Before you get there, let's get to him having to pull him out the club. And we see this all the time with football players, just different athletes and celebrities where their friends just take total advantage. Mm-hmm. Like, he had to tell his friend, like, hey, unless you're going to pay for this, you need to come on now.
Right. Yeah.
And I know athletes get tired.
Yeah, when you're like the breadwinner, but it's like now every time you go out, you know that it's all on you. You guys go out to dinner, it's on you.
Yeah, and I don't see that as being a problem if you don't get a feeling that people's taking advantage of it.
Yeah. Like
trying to do extra. Which I've seen people do extra before. You say, hey, get whatever you want. And yeah, they get whatever they want.
Yeah.
They get the highest price of whatever they want.
Right. And I would also say, like, even though these athletes are making a ton of money, a lot of them aren't at billionaire status. I don't think hardly any of them are at billionaire status. So even though they have a lot of money.
Yeah, hardly. I think LeBron.
That money goes really quick. If you're like partying it up here, 25,000 there, 50,000 there, you always hear about, especially in the basketball world, them going broke or whatever, because that money, they felt like they had so much. But yeah, you can have so much, but if you're spending recklessly, it can go fast.
Well, the football world also. Okay. And a couple of baseball players.
Oh, geez. In baseball, they make money, but... Yeah, so they're in the car, and Sherrod's telling him, like, yo, no one knows anything. And then he's like, yeah, you do. And he's like, yeah, but I've seen you do so much shit. I know all your secrets. Have I ever said anything before?
That was crazy. You already see he's paranoid, and you just running off a resume of things you know, like, I know your darkest past, your secrets. Yeah,
I know where the bodies are laid.
That's basically what he said. I know this, that, the other. It reminded me of that, who's that song? Brody.
Broski.
Broski,
yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that.
Like, by Joyner Lucas.
Yeah, like I know where all the bones are buried. I know this and that, the other. Like, are you threatening me with that right now? Or are you just telling me that you're going to be cool about it?
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, when they were first talking, I just thought they got into some shit. I didn't think murder. Like, because when we were talking, I was like, oh, Sherrod was that the first guy he attempted to kill? And Gary's like, well, they already were talking about somebody potentially being killed.
Well, they haven't got to the murder yet, so we don't know what happened in Boston.
Yeah, we'll find out. Yeah,
we will find out.
But he attempts to kill his friend right there. He was going to kill him in his sleep, but he woke up and shot him right then and there and takes his body out and leaves him there like it's like he's trash. Were you surprised when you saw that he was pulling over? Like, did you understand when he was pulling over what was about to happen, seeing that his friend was asleep at that time?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a funny feeling.
I knew what was going to happen because it's not like they went back to the hotel room. He pulled over in like a construction site.
Yeah.
Maybe. So he put over there and, just sat down and lit up a joint. So I kind of figured that he wanted to kill the guy. I didn't know it would be this sloppy where he just shot him and just pulled him out the car.
Right.
Because at the
changes
time,
his clothes, goes in the bathroom, changes his clothes, takes off his bloody shirt, throws that in the trash. Like, people can't find that as evidence, and then puts on a new shirt.
I mean, he was just at a strip club with the guy.
Yeah.
So somebody gonna say, hey, he was at the strip club, and then he's with, Aaron Hernandez.
Right.
Like, you're super famous at this time.
Yep. And then it's crazy because the very next scene was him winning an award for Patriots Pop Warner. It's 2013. They say you're inspiration to it's an inspiration to the youth award.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's so cringe. But at the same time, it also felt like I guess this happened. I hope they didn't just pull this award out of their ass. I'm talking about the show. So I'm assuming it happened. And I don't know. It's just, it made it so awkward because it was like the previous scene. We just saw him try to kill a friend.
Right. But both things could be right.
Yeah.
Like, you can't give back to the kids. You can't be a killer.
Yeah. Yeah. Dexter saved lives as well as he took them. So, so he's talking to a reporter afterwards, and he's really proud, and he's saying, my dad would be proud, and she mentions a $40 million contract he just signed. Life is good.
Yeah, that's huge. But
then we see Sherrod calling him. Now, when you saw that name pop up, before we get to what Sherrod was saying, what did you think? Like, what was your thoughts?
I thought maybe someone found the phone. Maybe someone found the phone out there at the construction site, or maybe it was the coroner's office.
That's what I thought, too.
Wanted to see the last number that called.
Yeah.
But, well, he wouldn't be the last number that he called because they were together.
They're together.
But that's what I thought.
It could have still been the last number he called, like maybe right before they met up, like, hey, 10 minutes away, and something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't think it was going to be actually Sherrod himself because I thought he was successful in his killing. But nope, it's Sherrod. He's like, yeah, you should have made sure I was dead. Like, talking shit. I'm like, why? He's like, you should have made sure I was dead. I'm going to get you. You a dead man. And I'm like, he's like, you shot me in my eye. And I'm like, why didn't you just call the police? Like,
or why didn't you just do what you said you was going to do? Like, you don't have to do all that talking.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to kill him, you just go and kill him.
Yeah.
You don't have to give him a heads up. Right.
Now he's on alert.
Yeah.
That's all I thought. I'm like, oh, he's on alert. You gave him a warning. So we go back to 2001 in Connecticut. We get teenage Aaron. He has his brother, DJ, and his dad and him. Well, they're a young teenage at this time. They're young teenage at this point. And the brother, him, and the dad are all running, like, practicing, getting their strength up. And I don't know, the dad pokes him in the side, tells him to stop standing that way, saying like you're F word.
Yeah, that was his brother.
Oh, he said it to the brother.
Yeah.
Okay. And he tells him like to be a man. And the dad mentions be a man so many times throughout this episode. Like, someone to play a drinking game, they would be drunk if they drunk every time he said be a man.
The problem, I think, with the father is we find out he was in prison. Mm-hmm. So maybe something happened in prison, or there was a lot of things he's seen in prison.
Right.
But yeah, he was, I don't know whether he was homophobic or he just didn't want anyone to take advantage of his sons.
Yeah.
You've seen something like that happen in prison. Like, nah, nobody's taking advantage of my son.
Right. And the dad also later on, when we keep seeing like how strong, I don't even want to say strong, strict is the word of that the dad is, and the relationship that he has with not just his kids, his wife as well. I feel like he's trying to live a little bit vicariously through Aaron and potentially his brother as well. Because they mentioned like the dad used to play football. He went to UConn when they had the whole conversation, and it's like obviously they didn't work out. And now he's like, okay, it didn't work out for me, but I can change it for at least one of my sons here.
Well, he knew the son. He knew which one because when they were sitting at the dinner table, he said, I wasn't good enough. Your brother's not good enough.
Yeah.
He said, you're the star. You're going to be the superstar.
Yeah, because the brother even mentions, like, will you go to my game? He's like, nah, Aaron got a game against somebody else. And
well, that was understandable because it was just a scrimmage.
Okay.
So it wasn't an actual game.
Okay.
But it did. Like, if you didn't know that, I guess it would pull some heartstrings.
Right.
Like, man, he's going to this game instead of this game. But,
yeah, because the brother at this point is in college and Aaron is still in high school.
Right.
When they're having this scene. The mom was super weird. I mean, I don't get the mom at all because she's like, obviously she was talking on the phone to someone right before dinner. I didn't notice it until like that second time. I think you noticed it both times.
I noticed the first time. I noticed she was on the phone and she was talking about, well, you married into this, but it looked like she got scared when the door opened and jumped off the phone. Mm-hmm. At the time, I just thought it was like the father just extra strict, just a being guy all around the house. So she just jumped out the phone and made sure dinner was ready.
Right.
But I guess now we understand why she jumped out the phone and who she was talking to.
Right.
But
right.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, because here at this scene, the mom's like, hey, tell him who you were just outside talking to. And she's like, it was a recruiter from Notre Dame. And they have this big argument because Aaron gets super excited, like, oh my gosh, Notre Dame. And Dad's like, F all of that. You're going to UConn. I went to UConn. Your brother went to UConn. You're going to UConn. I hate when parents like try to put what they did off on their kid. I mean, I understand you kind of want your kid like, oh, that's so cool. I went there. You can go there. But you can't force it. And at this point, it wasn't like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if you went to UConn just like me and your brother? It was like, no, you're going to UConn. You're not even going to talk to any other schools and hear what they have to offer.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at the family tradition. If the father went there, the son, I'm not mad at that at all. Now, if your child chooses to go another direction, you should understand. Say, okay, well, this is what you want to do. I guess you want to follow, start your own legacy. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, I do understand that his father wanted him to go to UConn because he went to UConn. Yeah,
that's true. And although they're like sort of having this family dinner, they're at the table, it's such a toxic environment. Like it was so intense. The mom's talking shit about the dad right there. So obviously she's not scared of him. And
that part confused me. Because just a second ago, I saw her just hurry up and hang up the phone and put dinner on the table. And then now she's just talking shit to him. So I'm like, okay, which one is it? Is she scared of him or is she not?
Yeah, I did not get the dynamic there. But the dad says, hey, I played on Saturdays. DJ plays on Saturdays, but you will play on Sundays. And then this was a little, I don't know if it was just too on the nose or whatever, but he was like, you'll be remembered forever. Which clearly he will now be remembered forever.
Yeah, but I understand what the father was, where he was getting at.
But he throws a glass at the mom when I forgot what she said. And luckily it misses. But I'm like, and she's like, clean this shit up. And I'm like,
that's when he was talking about Notre Dame. When she said, yeah, he need to get out of this town or he's going to end up like you.
Yes. Like, it was so, I'm like, both parents are fucked up. Like, the dad is super mean.
You hear what the father said? He was like, you know who been in jail multiple times.
Oh, he said that to the mom?
Yeah.
I didn't even hear it because the mom was talking all this shit.
I mean, yeah, multiple mugshots.
I was like, this is so awkward. I'm like, why are they doing this? Why are they together? They obviously hate each other.
But on a serious note, I used to have neighbors like that. Neighbors that we were in a duplex. They was in the next one over. And I swear to God, they were just like that. All they did was argue. The mother, she talked, her head bobbled to the side like she was a ex. I don't want to be mean. I'm just saying ex-drug addict. I was about to name a particular drug.
Yeah.
But like she was an ex-addict. So this is believable.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely believable. It was just sad. I was like, man, we're only like 10 minutes in. This shit is sad. It's depressing. All right, so we go to the high school football game. Aaron throws the winning touchdown at Bristol Central. And, Tanya's inviting him, like, come over. And like, yeah. And Dad's like, nah. Even though we find out Tanya is the mom's cousin, like their family. And she's like, he's a good kid, like, chill. And the dad says, I can't tell what he is. And once again, it's a little heavy-handed. Like, what do you mean you can't tell what he is? If you thought your son had violent tendencies, then I don't think football was ever the answer of like, okay, I don't know if I trust my kid. Something, he's giving me weird vibes. I feel like he can be violent. Let me put him in football.
I get that. I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he meant it like that. I just think he meant that he don't know what he is yet. He don't know if he's going to be a good kid. Or because remember when he said we're cut from the same cloth. So it's almost like he's saying I see a lot of me in
him, and he knows what he's capable of.
Yeah, what he's capable of, and he knows he went to prison. So maybe he's just trying to keep an eye on him. He doesn't know yet which one he is, because the other son seems like he's on the right path. He seems like the honor roll student.
Yeah,
and maybe because he's not as good at football that he could concentrate more on academics.
Yeah, yeah.
So you can already tell, like our kids, we can already tell, what kid's gonna be.
Right.
The other one, we still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And even this kid, like the brother Deej, he obviously is good enough to play, but you have to remember, so there's great football high school players, high school football players. It doesn't mean that they're all going to get scholarships to college. Right. And then the ones that do get scholarships to college, some of them still don't make it to that next step of the NFL. So obviously his brother was good enough for college level, but I don't know. We haven't really seen what happened. It doesn't look like he's going to make it past the college level, because later on when his coach kind of threatens his spot.
Well, the father already said that, he will only play on Saturdays.
Yeah.
So I don't think any one of them saw him getting past that college level.
Yeah. Well, even the coach later on kind of implied you're only here because we assumed your brother would be here, which is kind of fucked up. To say to a young man, he's, almost a kid.
Yeah, he was wrong for that. But I love the way his father negotiated. It's like how probably like the LeBron James.
That's what I thought of, yeah.
Like, hey, if you're going to get this son has to be throwing for him.
Yeah.
He has to be a quarterback.
Right.
You don't get one without the other.
Right. So cut to, he's hanging out with his friend. They're in the car, and next thing you know, his friend is jacking him off. And I believe that's what you were mentioning earlier, like this storyline of him maybe potentially being bisexual or homosexual, whatever the case may be, or maybe he was just exploring, who knows. But that situation didn't come out until after Aaron Hernandez's death, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that part of it didn't come out until after, and I mean, there's no one else to corroborate the story.
Yeah, just the one person.
So I'm surprised they put it in there, but then again, I'm not, because this is entertainment. That's all we need.
It's salacious.
All we need is one person.
Yep. Yeah. Even though you would think if he explored, it would have been with more than one person. Like, so he went to college and just never did it again.
I guess we're going to find out.
Or no one else opened up and said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So when he gets home, his dad was like, they saw you. They're just heavy-handed with everything. Because, Aaron looks scared. I was scared. I'm like, his dad's about to whoop his ass. I'm like, we about to see like a beating. And
his dad about to whoop all our ass.
Yeah, I was so scared. And then his dad was like, dancing on a parked car. Aaron was like, whoosh. That's it. That's all they saw. And he said something about 50 Cent had a new song and da-da-da. But his dad threatens to knock his teeth out. He says, wherever you go, people are watching.
And he's correct.
He is very correct. And the dad sets him sit down, massages his feet, because he's like, hey, like, this is his moneymaker right here. I don't want to say like the dad only cared about his, but this is his moneymaker.
But his dad going into like detail about why.
Yeah.
Because he's like, although there was everyone, like the son said, hey, it was a lot of us. Mm-hmm. But they only saw, you're the star.
Yep.
You're the big one.
Yep.
You're the ball player. So there's going to be some people in the town that's just going to like come after them because they think he's the star, and he's going to have, everyone's treating him like he's a cash bag already. His cousin.
Yeah.
His mother.
Mm-hmm.
Father. So, everyone in the town, if something happened, it don't matter who else was on that car.
Right.
That's just a broke ass peewee.
Yeah.
Broke tummy. But, hold up. Aaron was on my card too.
Yeah.
I'm going to get this fixed.
That's who you got to mention. Everything else don't matter. Right. That's why I always tell the kids, like, even now you think, something that might have happened in high school won't matter when you don't know, especially in the day of social media. People will bring that shit back up 20 years from later. You don't know where you want to be in 20 years. What if you're running for public office and they bring up something you did when you were 15? Like, keep your shit together. And I mean, I'm not on the level of the dad, but I get what the dad is saying.
Yeah, I get it.
And he does say, he's like, I used to walk around with a chip on my shoulders, but being a father is what gave me purpose. And he's kind of let him know, like, yeah, I used to walk around with a chip on my shoulder because I didn't get to face that dream or, follow that dream.
Well, he said also because he was the only Latin person or
yes,
Hispanic.
Yeah.
He's the only Hispanic person in town.
Yeah.
He was the first.
Yes, the first.
So that's why he used to walk around with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. And he said being a father gave him purpose. But one thing he said, which I think a lot of people, especially people of color, it can definitely relate to, is when he said you have to be twice as good to get half as much. And
that was a word.
That was a word. I'm like, I wish I could say that's not true or nah, not all the time, but nah. It's so sad because it's true.
It's true.
And I feel like it'll be true like 50 years from now. Yeah, it's a hard journey. I feel like 20, 30 years from now, the next generation will be saying the same thing. Like, yeah, that shit's still rap. I don't know. Like, it's unfortunate. It doesn't seem like racism is ever going to go away. So I don't know. But I get what the dad was saying there. But the dad does have a little pain. He says it's just a hernia, which in TV world, if someone mentions a pain or someone mentions a cough, it's almost for sure death. So when dad said he has a hernia from old football games, did you assume like, yeah, he's about to die?
No. I had a hernia before. So, I mean, I know that's the feeling you feel. Like it's like a dull, sharp pain. So when he looked like he was shocked when he was getting up and grabbed his side, yeah, I can understand it. So I'm thinking maybe it wasn't a hernia or could it have been a botched surgery?
Okay.
Because a hernia surgery, that's pretty simple. Man,
I know just in TV world, if someone coughs, someone does whatever, it could be a cough. That means that means a girl throws up anywhere between the ages of 20 and 40. She throws up once in a movie, she's pregnant. It's like this is the cliche things in the TV show. So once he mentioned that pain, I said, they didn't mention that pain for the fun of it. He gonna die. Not to be insensitive. But the very next scene, we get them at school. Once again, a little heavy-handed. They're discussing something like Hawthorne. I meant to write this quote down, but pretty much it was essentially saying, like, you wear one face publicly, but privately, that's not you. Like, you're putting on an act.
Well, it said, basically, you wear one face publicly and one face privately. Pretty soon, it's going to get intertwined.
Okay.
And I guess you won't know which is which.
Yeah, yeah. It's like when people say they start off dating someone and like, oh my gosh, she put his best foot forward and then boom, we moved in together and he's a whole different person, or we got married and he's a whole different person, or she's a different person. But he gets caught out of class. They mention DJ is on his way and just to hold up for DJ to get on his way. And I'm thinking, why didn't y'all just call him out of class once DJ was there? Like, do we not have common sense? Because they didn't want to tell him, like, nah, just wait here until DJ gets here. I could have waited in class.
Sit around him looking sad.
Yeah, he's looking sad, not saying anything. I could have been in class, not aware of anything, and then once DJ got there, you could have called me. And then DJ, what about also the mother? Why wasn't she there? But he knows. He says, my dad's passed away, and then we get the funeral immediately after.
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
It was sad, but I don't know why, and I'm trying to be sensitive here, but I felt, and maybe it did go downhill. Maybe he did have a little more freedom once his dad passed. But in a way, I thought he was kind of going to be happy or some type of relief. Maybe not happy, but relieved. And that, like, now I can go home and I'm not going to be worried that somebody's roughing me up. Not saying that we saw the dad did that, but it was clear that the dad has been physical with him, because when he came home the night before, the dad said, don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. So I would think that I'd be relieved. Like, oh, now I can go home and not have to deal with that.
I think you were looking at the world through your eyes. Mm-hmm. When I was younger, my parents would whip my ass. So, yeah, my father said, hey, come over here. Nah, don't worry, I ain't gonna hurt you. Yeah, I'm gonna walk over there slow. Especially if I know I've done something.
I think
so. It's not like that. His father was probably abusing him. It's probably that his father was just strict, and when he act up, he got jacked up.
I don't know. The way he act to me was a person that's been abused, and not that I'm an expert on that, but you shouldn't be walking around scared of your parents. Like, oh no, he's like walking around eggshells every time the dad's there. Like, if he makes a joke, he has to look at the dad. Like, can I laugh? Like, is it okay to laugh? Is it okay to cry? Like, tell me how to feel.
You saw a little bit too deep.
When he got excited for Notre Dame, he was so excited. Like, yeah, dad cut that shit immediately. Done it. Didn't like it. To me, it didn't seem like he could have his own emotions. The dad was telling them how to feel.
I didn't get that. I didn't get that. I mean, we saw his personality a lot of times around his dad when he was joking with his brother and stuff, and his brother was joking. I mean, we saw his personality a lot. But you could tell his dad when he says something, he means it. When
they were joking, reffing at the table, the dad wasn't in the house yet.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the time they were just joking with each other. Like when they was running up the hill, they joked with each other. When they was in the kitchen, even with the fathers at the table, they both, especially about Notre Dame, whatever.
And the dad shut it down like immediately.
Yeah, he shut it down because he knew where his son was going.
And both times when they ran up the hill joking, shut it down immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like, and maybe that's why this show felt so heavy to me, because it seemed so depressing. I'm like, this is a depressing episode.
Well, I think you felt like that because you was probably raised like a hippie.
No.
You was raised.
I got spankings. There's a difference of spanking and like beating your kid. It feels like he would.
But I'm talking about like you probably got a spanking once or twice, like early on, like very young. But the rest of your life, it was like it was like a hippie. Like it was like you left the house when you wanted to. You came back when you wanted to.
Yeah, life was chill. Yeah,
and that's not life. That's not the normal person life. You didn't live the normal person life. Where you're just a 14-year-old, 15, just out and about. I'll be back tomorrow morning.
Just doing your own thing.
That's not life.
Like the little girl, the 8-year-old that just drove herself to Target.
That was your life.
Nah, let's just stop there. That was not my life there. But I'm like, hey, I ain't mad at her.
So, of course, when you see discipline, it's going to feel awkward.
Gary, I know discipline.
When you see a parent, when you see a strict parent trying to keep their kid on the right road, it's going to feel a little awkward. Like, what are you doing?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't have a strict growing up personally, but I know the difference between being strict and no, the dad to me is abusive.
Well, let me tell you, I don't think the father was abusive. I'm gonna just say that. That's just my thoughts. But he wasn't relieved when his father died because that was his normal. His father kept him on top of his sports. Mm-hmm. He played football. He played basketball. His father kept him on the right line. So it's like you have a military upbringing, and now you have nothing. Now that's all gone.
Right.
Because most people outside, when they leave the military, after a year or two, it kind of fades. Mm-hmm. All their routines just go out the window. Yeah, but I think the only way you're going to stick with that discipline if you're in the reserves.
Okay.
You're still going there, a couple of times a year. You can call, you have to be in it.
Right.
And his father basically was giving him, because his father was in prison, so he's basically giving him that kind of military kind of discipline.
Yeah, tough love.
Not military, but the tough love. You wake up at this time, we run at this time, we do this at this time. That's what you're not used to. It's called structure. That's what it is.
Too much, Joe. You are too much now. Let me call my mama and tell her you talking about how I was raised. I had some structure. Yeah, maybe very not. It wasn't strict. We can admit that. It wasn't a strict household. But I know, I don't know. I feel like that household is like a kid should be able to laugh and cry and show emotion and whatever. You know what I mean? And I don't think being able to freely express your emotions is hippie. I think that should be the norm.
I think the toxic part was the parents bickering.
Yes, and then hearing that bullshit all the time, like hearing that all day.
But the father keep him on the right path, keep him away from the cousin's house because he knows what goes on over there.
Yeah.
making sure, you just try to keep out of trouble. Make sure you're in the right path. I mean, just giving them structure. I don't think that's toxic.
Yeah, originally when he said no to going to cousin house, I'm like, why? She said let's play some cards. I'm like, it's family friendly. And then later on, now that when we see him at the cousin house, I'm like, oh, I see why. But we have a scene before we get to that, or probably a few scenes. We'll touch on that though. But now Aaron is smoking in the car with his friend. They kiss a little. The guy goes down on Aaron, but then Aaron stops it. He's like, yo, if anybody found out, he'd be screwed. Not his friend, because no one's checking for his friend, but everyone's checking for him.
He's right. He's right, because if it came out, it wouldn't be about his friend. Mm-hmm. It'd be about Aaron, the 5-star recruit. That's who the story would be about.
Yeah, I whenever I hear like these celebrities that get in trouble, the Diddy story is really big right now. But just anytime when celebrities get in trouble, I'll be like, yo, you made it. Why would you ever risk it? And like,
what the problem was, they was risking it the whole time.
Yeah.
Like Diddy was Diddying.
Yeah, Diddy was like, Diddying for a long ass time.
And he came in the game Diddying.
That might be the next American crime story. They might do it. We skipped Monica Lewinsky, which I do want to go back eventually and do, because once again I was really young when that happened. So maybe it might not be until a few years before they do the Diddy, because the story has to come to an end. The case has to come to an end. They can't do it while it's in the middle. And I hate when shows, like, they're so eager to pop out with the episode. Like, next thing you know, there's going to be
they go, like, straight to Tubi.
Yeah, straight to Tubi. Man, Netflix might have something on it.
I think Tubi have a surviving Diddy.
So there is a surviving Diddy. There is. But like I mentioned, Netflix just has the Menendez brothers, and I'm like, that happened in the 90s. I appreciate them waiting a long time. When the farther away it is, you can talk about it a little more easier versus when it's fresh and people are still alive and people that were affected are still right there.
You're right, but I don't think they waited a while by design. I think maybe it just took them this long to get all the rights to the story they wanted to put together.
Oh, for the Mendez brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of interested in that, but I remember when it happened and we were like kids, little kid. They might have happened in San Diego. I don't know. I remember that story. It was so big when I was a kid. But
it was.
All I know is the boys killed their parents, which it was crazy. But anywho, get back to this one. Jeff is over the house. We find out Jeff is Tanya's husband. Tanya's the cousin that was talking to him after the game saying, hey, they're a good kid. The mom has clearly moved on.
She has. Or maybe she hasn't moved on. Maybe she was messing with him the whole time.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Because Aaron asked his aunt, whoever she is, to him, Tanya, later. She's like, did it start after Dad died?
Well, we got 2 times. We got her on the phone when she hung up quickly. And remember at the game when the father said,
oh yeah, they took a smoke break.
Yeah, the father said, well, hey, where's my wife? And she said he went with so-and-so to take a smoke break.
Yeah.
Which we know now, she went with her husband. They got lost in, so they were messing around for a while.
Yeah, and then now they didn't even get their story straight on if someone does pop up. Like, okay, say this, because he said something. He said, I was helping your mom with something. I'll leave the bottle here. And then the mom comes in. She goes, "Oh, Jeff stopped by with groceries." Da da da. And Aaron looks in the fridge, and the fridge is completely empty with just beer. And that's when he was like, "You shitting me?" Like, get your guys' lie straight. But obviously, they didn't care. They're being real reckless now.
They're reckless, and they feel more freer to do it.
Yeah.
Now that the father can't pop up and everything, now her home is just a safe space for her.
Yep, the home is the spot. Aaron shows his mom a large tattoo on his father, and mom tells him, like, you can be your own man, like, you don't have to follow in your father's footsteps. Da, da, da. And I don't know if this is when she said it, but she was once again being so, like, why would you say this to your kid about his own father? She's like, he was just he was nothing. He was like I forgot what his custodian, and she's like, and even a part-time custodian. Like, why are you talking about this man like your kid's father? Right.
But it seems like she was jealous of the father, because at one point in that conversation she said he was the king around here and nobody treated me like a queen.
The queen, yes. Well, if you're walking around with that nasty attitude, then I don't blame anyone to not treat you like a queen.
Right.
So we get Aaron. He is watching Shania, I want to say. Shayana Jenkins, who ends up being his future wife or fiance. I'm not sure if they did get married. I looked her up, and her name was hyphenated Hernandez. So, but then other things kept calling her fiance. So I'm like, well, is she the fiance or was she married to him? But he asked her to the spring dance. She's super cute. It's gonna be like young love. What are your thoughts in this little scene? Because she's like, hey, I'm hard. He's like, don't play hard to get. She's like, I'm hard to get, or whatever.
Yeah, I guess it was a little cute scene. A cute scene to, I guess, to bridge the gap between, for them two. Mm-hmm. Because, we're going to see her later, so.
Yeah. And then the next scene is him. Sorry, go ahead.
But, they showed them meeting before. She was the one who helped him cheat in class.
Okay, yes. I remember the teacher saying when he answered, and teacher's like, think Shania. And I'm like, how? What? So I must have I missed it. I was like, why is the teacher assuming?
Asked a question, and she wrote down the answer and held her book up.
Okay. Because when the teacher said, I was like, wait, how did the teacher assume that someone helped him with the answer?
But he knew he didn't know it.
Well, he's playing basketball next, which is funny because every time he kept saying, like, I'm playing hoops. I think he invited her to the game. He's like, I'm playing hoops. And I was like, I never knew they referred to football as hoops. I thought that's only a basketball term. And then, because I didn't know he played both sports. So when he kept saying hoops, I'm like, that's a basketball term. But then, boom, next scene, he's playing basketball. I'm like, oh, so I didn't know he played multiple sports. And obviously, he was talented. He was very talented. He was doing good on the basketball team. But Tanya comes in, which I'm like, if you embarrass me in public, I will never, ever fuck with you again. Like, don't ever do that shit. Like, she came in there, cussing them out, trying to fight the mom. You've been sleeping with my husband, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, that could have waited.
Why at the kids' basketball game? People are going to talk.
Yeah, the whole family was toxic.
Toxic.
Or this is how they're portraying it. We don't know if that actually happened. So we're just talking about the show because we know that a lot of this is for entertainment.
Yes.
But if this really happened, I'm calling them toxic, just as well as the characters on the show.
Yeah, I'm going to say, like, we can't say for sure every single thing happened, but if this was my family story and I'm like, okay, we're nothing like that, I'm suing y'all. Now, if y'all saying like, oh, there's some toxic shit, and I'm like, yeah, it didn't go down exactly like that, but it still happened something like that, then I would keep my mouth shut. But the way they're portraying them, I'm like, yo, I can't help but feel that it's true because there has been no redeemable qualities except for that the guy is talented in sports. But other than that, it's just like, everybody's horrible. Except for the brother.
I guess we have a couple of days.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it's only episode 1.
Yeah, news travel fast. So we have a couple of days before they get on internet saying that's not us.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I pulled up one article and it was pretty much just saying, actually it's Vulture. I'll just read the first sentence and then I was like, you know what, Nicole, don't even read it. I don't want to say spoiled, but I want to just keep my mind clear of any. Yeah. But the article from Vulture goes, how do you begin to tell the story of Aaron Hernandez? To many fans of a late New England Patriots titan, there's a simple answer. You don't. So it's implying that they shouldn't have done this story. And then when you hear that, what happens at the end in 2017, that's not that long ago. And to me, it does seem too fresh.
Yeah. And like I said, they just piece together different stories.
Yeah.
Like I heard this piece of it when a guy came out, but that was never confirmed. It's like a secret, like we're secret lovers. Nobody knew this, that, the other, but this is what they add, to the movie.
Yeah.
And there's probably like other pieces or other people's story that they added. This is one thing about giving your story because you could give your story to, let's say you do an interview. You could do an interview with the Today Show. Guess what? They own that interview. They own that part of your story. Mm-hmm. Whatever you said there. They could sell that.
Yeah.
It's theirs. So someone could take what you said there and put it into a movie, take what someone else said and put it into the movie. Like the OJ case. Mm-hmm. It was like different stories came together and wow, this is the show.
Yeah. The one thing I did appreciate with the OJ case is that it was so far, like, yes, there's still plenty of people that remember that case. My mom was one of the ones that said OJ is guilty since forever. And me, I was just like, I remember that case, but I was a kid. And I think some things they do too soon, like the 9/11 stuff. They had 9/11 movies like 2 years later. I'm like, even though I was a teenager when that happened, I don't want to see no 9/11. I can't see those buildings on fire. It's sad. It's way too soon. And even though 9/11 at this point was like, what, 20 years? I don't know. 2001. Yeah, it's been over 20 years. To me, it's still too soon to have a 9/11 story because there's still so many people that are alive that were affected by it. And I feel like you just really need a lot of time to go to pass when it's these serious, dark stories. Serious, dark stories, I'll say.
Yeah, you should, but, I mean, that's not how it works.
Yeah. I mean, it's like someone dies tomorrow and the next thing you know, like next year, there's going to be a story like, hey, here's the real true story about them.
Dude, next month.
Yeah, sometime.
It'll be an MTV miniseries.
I just saw on Hulu.
Miniseries.
Hulu, it was something like, what happened to Matthew Perry? I'm like, Matthew Perry, the one that just died a couple months ago, y'all already doing a story on him? Like, geez, let it chill. We ain't got to do this stuff you could do.
It's like we don't have any shame anymore.
No shame whatsoever.
Look at those podcasts.
Yeah, here we are contributing to it. I would love the John Benet Ramsey story. That story was so sad. It happened when I was a kid. I would love for them to cover that. Like, what the hell happened? Yeah. All right, getting back to it. We get Steve from Admissions, University of Florida. He pulls up on Aaron. Aaron picks up a rock. Aaron was about to
Yeah, because that was like a weird pull up.
Yeah.
Like, why are you following the kid?
Right.
Like, you should have made that pull up quick.
Yeah.
Like, hey, are you Aaron?
Yeah.
Don't just follow. It's almost like you're trying to see where he's going.
A slow roll. Yeah, it was a slow roll stalker type thing.
Let me stalk him until we get to his house.
And he offers him a visit to Florida, and Aaron's like, well, I already made a commitment. And he's like, yo, you was 14. And I'm like, don't try to make it seem like his commitment. I mean, at the same time, I don't think he should be held to the commitment at 14. They shouldn't have even been asking him that. Like, why is a 14-year-old committing? It's way too soon.
They probably didn't ask him. He probably said after a Pop Warner game. Like, I'm going to UConn.
Yeah, a little kid. Like, come on. The rest, that's a big decision. So he's like, come here. We send so many people off to NFL every year. I think he said previous year 4 people went. Cut to Aaron is extremely impressed. He's at the Florida game. Yeah. He's at the Florida stadium. They have a jersey already with his name out. We see Tim Tebow. That was a big name many years ago, and I don't think he
still is.
Well, he doesn't play anymore.
No.
But I remember his name was big, and then it was like...
But he does college sports.
Okay. Well, I mean, I remember he left college or whatever. Maybe he graduated. I don't know. But I remember when he came to NFL. Yeah. And then, didn't he have, a little prayer or something he used to do, right?
Yeah.
He did something. Yeah, I remember that name.
He took a knee and bowed and prayed on the field.
But then it was like, boom, he's not playing anymore. I'm like, what? How are you so popular one day? Like... Keep your family close because they don't give a fuck. They will throw you away quickly.
Somebody probably was mad he was praying.
Yeah, because people started. I remember on social media, they're like, "That's so weird. He's praying." It was weird. It was weird that they were weirded out. But
it's weird.
But when it showed Tim Tebow, I said, "Oh, that's an interesting thing. I didn't know. I'm familiar with the name, but I didn't know much about him." All right, so DJ's coach shows him the video of Aaron committing to University of Florida, and he's like, yo, your position as QB may be in jeopardy now.
Yeah, because he said, who you going to throw to?
Yeah.
Basically saying that, hey, you need to get your brother on. Man, it's crazy how nasty these sports are.
Yeah.
Because we saw that with a high school coach and Coach Myers.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Oh, it's coming up?
Yeah.
But it's just nasty. It's nasty work. How they're trying to sell these kids.
Yep.
Here, you need to come here. This. Like, you telling me that me playing is based off of my brother coming out.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the next scene, we get Aaron. He's at the dance with Shania, and his brother shows up. He's like, yo, I've been trying to reach you. Like, what the fuck? What was that video about? Aaron kind of brushes off because Aaron was about to go try to hook up at the dance. Well, I don't want to say he was going to hook up. He was going to reach out to his friend that he normally hooks up with.
Yeah, he was chasing them down.
Yes, when his brother comes.
And at the dance, you see him dancing with his girlfriend, and, you see the what is his friend name? The QB.
I don't know the QB's name.
Oh, okay, but you see them kind of looking over each other, glancing, looking at each other's eyes. QB, he's getting jealous or whatever, staring them down. That was just an awkward scene.
Yeah, it was. It was.
But his brother, like you said about his brother, he came there and he's saying, "Hey, what's wrong with you? What would our father think?" Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's kind of selfish of you. He was right to say, well, maybe they should have had a more of a conversation.
He should have told his brother.
He was right to say, "Hey, it's like you don't care about me." Well, he don't have to tell his brother. Like, why should me coming there determine whether you play or not?
But if he knew, going back to the Bronny James, LeBron James and all that stuff, if you're like, hey, I signed up, 2 years later my brother's gonna come, and you're like to the brother, yeah, I'm gonna come, you've been talking all your life, yeah, I'm coming, cool, we're signing you up, you'll be there a year or 2 years before your brother, and then he gets on board, we're gonna get him too.
If I'm not a part of that discussion, which he obviously wasn't part of that discussion, whether you only get to play if I'm there,
I feel like I feel like Aaron knew. They're not like making these discussions and him not knowing that's part of the deal.
No, but I'm saying that him playing, him only getting to play if I'm there, I don't think he knew that was a part of the deal. Maybe he knew that, hey, this is going to be my quarterback, he's going to be throwing to me. Maybe they did tell him, like, hey, if you don't come, he doesn't play.
Yeah, we don't know.
But I doubt it, because no one ever tells you the bad part.
Yeah.
They make everything sound good. Like, oh, yeah, when you come here, hey, your brother's going to be throwing to you.
Right.
This is what it's going to be. No one ever tells you we're using you.
Yeah. Well, the brother says, Deej says, you're making me look stupid. And he's like, can you make it right? He's like, what do you mean make it right? Like, how? And he's like, can you at least just play for a year? Just play for a year, and then you can transfer. Like, the brother is like damn near begging him. But at this point, Aaron kind of just looks at him and kind of pushes him off. It's like, nah, like, get away from me, fuck off. Like, I felt like Aaron felt that now his dad is gone, so he's actually able to make decisions for his own future, and he's not going to let his brother change that.
Well, Aaron said what he said. He said, you don't care about me.
Yeah. And I don't think that was true.
I don't think that was true, but he didn't have Aaron's best interest at heart. Because if Florida's a better school and you know the opportunity that I'll get here, you being my brother, you'll be all for it.
That is true. That is true. I'm just thinking, I guess, like, if someone was like, Nicole, we're going to give you this opportunity, but Gary has to go too. If I'm begging you to come, like, Gary, come so I can get this deal, it doesn't all of a sudden mean I don't care about you. It means I'm like, damn, I really want this opportunity. Can you do me this solid? Without me not realizing, wait, Nicole, I have this other opportunity I'd rather chase on my own. And I'm thinking, like, damn, I won't get this thing without him. So I see both sides.
But if you think about it, the opportunity was only an illusion. Like, he knew he wasn't good enough to go to the next step anyway. Yeah. Like, if you're not good enough to do it by yourself.
Yep.
They're not going to give you the job by yourself, then this is an illusion. So you expect me to, I guess, stop my dreams, like going to the NFL, making sure I have a better chance of getting there. You expect me to stop that to come play with you? Who's to say the recruiter would? Well, I think Aaron Hernandez would have been a star no matter where he went.
Yeah.
But at that point, who's to say that the NFL was really looking at him like that?
That is true.
And I'm pretty sure, like the recruiter said, hey, we had 8 or 9 people that got drafted.
Yeah.
So they probably already had records of nobody getting drafted from UConn or something, or maybe one person, or who knows?
Yeah. I would think, and once again, I'm being careful because we're like, don't want to call them all vultures or anything, but I was surprised because Notre Dame.
That's exactly what they were.
Yeah. Notre Dame came earlier and the dad turned away, but it seems like, University of Florida comes after the dad dies. I wonder if they just didn't show it, but it seems like more schools would have been like, yo, it's just the kid there. Like, the gatekeeper is no longer there. Like, let's go and try to recruit him.
Yes, I think so. I think it was more than Notre Dame.
And University of Florida. Well, we only saw University of Florida after, and
No,
I'm like,
I mean at the time where we saw Notre Dame. I think
Yeah,
at that time, because the father said it doesn't matter who show up, and he named a couple of schools off. So, and Florida was one of the schools, or was it?
I don't know. I
think Florida was a school, and USC was a school. But he was saying he don't care who comes there, and maybe they already came.
Yeah. So
Florida probably just doubling back.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised more didn't double back. Like, okay, the dad's now gone.
They probably did.
Da da da. All right, so we're at Tanya's house, and Aaron is now staying with her because he's pissed off at his mom, about what she was doing. And two guys come over, and I wrote down no good. They were no good. You could tell immediately. They were definitely Aaron, a young boy that's still in high school, did not need to be around these kids, around these two young men.
Yes. Can you say the father was right?
Yeah. Charlie boy and Bo. And they do some reverse psychology shit, calls him soft.
And Bo just got out of jail, right?
Yeah, Bo just got out of jail. They call him soft. Bo has a gun and lets Aaron hold it and says his dad was tough and loyal.
I don't think that was reverse psychology when they call him soft. Because he wasn't talking to him. He was talking to the other guy. I think that was just a way of saying, like, hey, he's not from the streets. That's it.
Yeah, I don't know. I wrote reverse psychology. Something about it felt really reverse. Like, she's not about it. Like, if you're talking and the person right next to you can hear. I mean, this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
I felt like when he was talking to him, he said it loud enough that Aaron can hear him. Like, yo, he's soft, yo. And then just be like, I'm not soft. Hey, let me prove to you I'm not soft.
Well, they all looked shocked when Aaron said, who you calling soft? He looked over like, whoa, hey, I was just saying that you weren't from the streets.
Yeah. And then Aaron...
Your dad kept you on the right path. Kept you on the field.
But also, I guess I felt that way because then he's like, your dad was tough. He was loyal. Like, like putting all this,
Well, he only said that because Aaron asked about him. He said, you knew my father.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if Aaron wouldn't have asked him, he wouldn't have said that.
Well, Aaron asked to hold the gun, and we kind of discussed it. You said he wasn't pointing the gun at Bo, but he was pointing the gun at whatever. And he goes, do I still look tough? I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh, do I still look soft?
Yeah, do I still, sorry. Yes. Yeah. Do I still look soft? Yeah, so, that was, the dad was clearly right to keep him away from Tanya's house.
Yeah, that structure. That discipline.
All right, so Aaron takes a hard hit on the field. It's a grade 1 concussion. So they're showing he has gotten hit. His head was probably already messed up while he was still in high school. Because the doctor says no football, no TV, no reading, no drinking, no smoking. Like all of that reading, even just sitting there reading can fuck up your eyes. And you don't need that right now, with the head.
He wanted him to take a little time off.
Yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure he didn't. Well, they had the talk, the bro talk where the bros say they better know more than the doctor.
Yeah.
And they were like, man, the doctors don't know nothing. They try to keep you down.
Right.
like why?
Don't skip no games. I think that's the next thing. Like, don't skip no games or you're going to look soft. Or like, what the hell? What kind of bad advice is this?
Yeah, that's the advice you get. That's the advice you get in the hood. You get bad advice.
Bad advice. But before we leave this scene, when everyone leaves out, Tanya was even there and talked her shit real quick and looked like Tanya got a new man. So she was, some new guy was there.
Yeah, because when Bo and what's the other guy name?
Charlie boy,
when they walked in, they asked the guy, they said, hey, this your new spot now? He said, yeah, this is my new spot now.
Oh shit. Okay. So damn. So she done moved some other man in there.
Yeah, she moved on quick.
Well, the mom says, like, you living at Tanya's house, you need to come home. And she essentially says, like, it's embarrassing that you're living it. And he's like, oh, that's what you're worried about. You're not worried that I'm not there. You don't miss me. You're worried about the optics. And she talks about all the shit she did for him. And I just was cringing once again. I'm like, stop it. She's like, I fed you. I bathed you. I put food on the table. Like, bitch, that's what you supposed to do.
I remember my mom used to say stuff like that. It's like parents bring you into this world of suffering. Like, you brought me here.
Yeah, I didn't ask to be here. You brought me here. So, yes, I do expect you to feed me, clothe me, house me.
Are you mad because I'm hungry? Like, what?
Yeah, when she said it, I just, every time the mom was on screen, I'm like, this lady, I thought she was doing a horrible job. I'm like, she actually must be doing a good job, because every time she talks, I just cringe. I'm like, no, 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 stop saying it. Stop. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And that's the next scene where, his new friends tell him, like, you can't even sit one game out. You're going to look weak. And they call him a beast. And once again, I hope they do a little bit better with the writing, because it's so in your face, calling him a beast, using these certain words that to me implies like tough, strong, dangerous, implying what we eventually we're gonna see.
Right. It's like everything his father was trying to keep him from. Once his father passed away, that's where he went toward.
Yeah. All right, so we're almost here at the end. UF wants Aaron to come on down for spring training, but when they say spring training, they actually mean in January. And the high school coach is like, yo, he just turned 17. He's not mature enough socially, emotionally, and why can't he come when he graduates? And his coach is like, hey, just let him finish high school first. And you have pretty much, like, that's where he turns to, like, Mr. Jekyll Hyde. He was so sweet, and then he goes, yo, I don't want him to, like, he's putting this opportunity at risk. Like, okay, so now you guys talking about you may not take him? To me, that would make me just not even want to F with y'all.
No, he didn't say that we might not take him. He said that he might not be the player that we all want him to be. Not that we're not going to take him, but his development. But basically, you're right. It was more of a, I don't want to say we're not going to take him, but I'm saying that we don't know if we're going to want him if he don't come now.
Yeah. And then the mom's saying, well, she's lost control of him, so hopefully UF can help him.
Like, he was still embarrassing her.
I was like,
staying with her cousin.
Yeah. She was like, she'll do anything to get him out of that cousin's house. If that means him leaving at age 17 to go play some football before finishing high school, she will let it happen.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Like, the high school coach was saying that he's not ready. We need to keep him here. Well, he said he's not ready, but he didn't have a plan to develop him.
Yeah, because he's like, well, how are you going to help him? And I thought the high school coach was pretty much saying it's not only about football. Like, just he needs to socially develop more and stay here. So I don't think the high school coach was saying it for his own benefit, because technically the high school football team, that the season would be over by January when they want him to come. So what does he have to gain? I think he was actually looking out for Aaron.
Maybe.
Because what was he going to gain? The season would be over in January.
Well, I mean, he still had another season because this was a junior year, right?
No, he was 17. So, I mean, I'm assuming he was a senior. He was a senior. Because they're saying, like, just let him finish out, let him graduate. Because even when Aaron leaves and sees his friend.
When they said we want to push him through early, graduate him early, I thought maybe he was leaving, like, early. Maybe a grade early, but I don't know.
No. To me, it implied, hey, we want him to come in January, graduation's in May or June. In May or June, that's when graduation is. And that's what Aaron told his friend, like, hey, they said I can come back for graduation.
Okay.
And that's what I mean. Like, the high school coach wouldn't have got anything really out of it. January comes, season's over. They might go to the finals. They might have a final game in January. But
maybe. I just don't trust. I just don't trust anybody who's around those kids. Not like that, but I'm just saying that you don't know their motives. Because maybe if he stayed, he would have had time to talk him to another school that he done promised somebody.
That is true.
Promised another college coach. Or he could have been a part of the promise in UConn.
That is true.
That's a state school.
Yeah, there might be some, ulterior motives there.
Yeah, in the same state.
Not everyone can be a Coach Taylor from Friday Night Lights.
Right.
He cared about his kids.
Because it seemed like, I mean, it doesn't matter if he leave right now or leave later. It just didn't matter. It didn't matter.
I didn't even think that was allowed. Like, how is that allowed to let the boy leave when he's still in high school?
Well, remember, he said he was going to take some classes at the college to make up the credits.
Oh, which
it's
means
like dual enrollment.
Which means some bullshit. He's not. They're gonna have someone take it for him, or just probably pass him for him. I mean, I
probably.
That's just I'm the thought.
But I think that's what it was, like a dual enrollment. Like, okay,
thing.
the next semester he needs these many credits. So we could get him X amount of credit hours. At the college, at the school.
Well, we get pretty much that final scene. Aaron goes to visit his special friend who's now going to join the Marines. So he's like, obviously, he already knows his path, which is so sad to me because I'm like, he didn't seem excited for it. And even Aaron kind of makes a joke like, why are you going to join the Marines? He's like, well, no one's checking for me for football. And I'm like,
no, what Aaron said, Marines is badass. And
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so he's trying to hype the Marines up.
Yeah.
And he was saying, no, playing football is badass.
Badass, yeah, you're right. But all I thought was, this school did these boys a disservice because it almost feels like if you don't get in football, they didn't talk to him about any other life goals. Like, it's either football or nothing. Like, why couldn't he have gone to school for something else?
I don't think that's the school that was on the school. Because, like I said, if you love football, you love football. You want to play. You're going to play football regardless. Mm-hmm. Like, there's millions of kids just hoping to go to the NFL. So they're going to play ball, and over half of them, mm-hmm. Probably a 75%, 80% of them, they're not going to make it.
Yeah.
A lot of them are not going to make it, but they're going to try. And at the end of high school, you got to decide what you're going to do. Okay, no college is taking me for football. I need to go to school for this. But a lot of kids don't have the money to go to school, and they don't have the grades to get the grant.
Yeah, especially if their focus had been football. All their eggs were in that basket.
So, okay, my parents don't have the money for me to go to college. I don't want to take out a loan. The best thing to do is go to the service.
Yeah.
Go to Marines, Army, whatever. And let them pay for school later.
Well, Aaron offers him, he's like, hey, you need to come visit me sometime. And he was like, yo, we can't do that shit in Florida. Like, and Aaron dismisses it and tries to hug him and even tries to grab his dick. And he pushes him off. He's like, yo, this is the type of shit I'm talking about. Like, now, you can't do that now. You are going to be, like, front and center. People are going to know your name, especially these big college, those college football stars. Yeah. People know their names,
Yep.
And now when I think about it, they're so young, and to have that much pressure, and I couldn't do it. So I give it to him. I couldn't have all that pressure on me at 18, 19 years old. They're playing with millions of people are watching them from home. Thousands of people are watching in the stadium. It's a lot. And yeah, you take one foot out of order, everyone's going to know.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on, I guess, the school you go to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to, like, Alabama or one of these big name schools that,
Yeah, or Florida.
Yeah. Georgia, UGA,
yeah.
Clemson, those big names. But Aaron also shows him his tattoo, which relates to the beginning of the episode, and also I think what his dad was telling to him.
Right.
Which says, if it's to be, it's up to me, which I do like that expression.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So yeah, good episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
Sad, dark, sad. We'll see what the second one is. Hulu did release 2 episodes, and then after that it'll be weekly. So by the time you're hearing this, episode 2 will be out because we're releasing, we'll be recording or watching episode 2 today or tomorrow, and then releasing them both at the same time.
Yeah, they came out at different times, but we wanted to watch one first.
So they came out the same day.
They came out the same day. Yeah, but we wanted to watch them one at a time.
One at a time, and then talk about this before.
So I would be talking about episode 2.
Yeah, getting confused. Episode 2, like, oh, that's never mind. That happened episode 2. So yeah, we'll be back shortly. If you guys do want to be part of the podcast and you want to give feedback, if you have thoughts, I would like it to sort of stick with the show. You don't need to write in and say like, no, this is what Aaron Hernandez did. Like, keep it related to the show. Unless you can cross-reference it to real life.
Yeah, if you can cross-reference. Yeah, we would love that.
We would love that. And you can email us, host@theverdictsend.com. That's HOST@theverdictsend.com. And we'll discuss your feedback on the podcast. Additionally, I do have my own small podcast called Small Screen Sagas. I covered the TV show from seasons 1 and 2. Gary did join me on the season finale of season 2 and may possibly join me this 3rd season. But From does come back out. Season 3 starts Sunday, the 22nd. It's such a good show. If like you're a fan of Lost and then you kind of like that Twilight, like, you know, Twilight Zone, like what's going on. You know, it's a mystery, it's a thriller, it's kind of scary. The guy that played Michael from Lost is on the show. It's such a good show. I absolutely love it. I'm about to rewatch seasons 1 and 2 again to prepare for Sunday. Now I just realized, I'm like, dang, it came up so quickly. Can I get 2 seasons done in like 3 days?
You can.
And I know I can.
You can.
I know I can. Challenge accepted. So anywho,
I'll be right there with you.
Follow us on Small Screen Sagas. I don't know if Gary will be on all the episodes with me or some, but definitely going to cover that show there on the Small Screen Saga. And when we post this, hopefully I'll remember to put the link, the iTunes link to that season or to that show. That's all we got. I'm Nicole.
I'm Gary.
Thank you and have a good night.